We need to talk about Gen Z. Because older generations always dog on younger ones, but I think I'm starting to take their side. We've become a group of geek bar sucking, Zin addicted, caffeine slamming, sleep deprived little demons. Many days go by where I spend more time on Instagram Reels than I do outside. I am the problem. Like, I couldn't imagine half of y'all surviving the draft. At least some of us have some Fortnite training. But other than that, common sense, a consistent sleep schedule, not being afraid to call people to set up appointments, we've got nothing else. We're so cooked, we've invented situationships, which is like dating with extra steps and less happiness. You like someone, but not enough to really like them, and when they text you, you have to pretend not to see it for a while so you don't look desperate. Like, are we dead? I know some of you out there are putting more effort into calculating your snaps than doing homework. Be so for real. We've gamified social interaction. Incredible! We grew up with SpongeBob, Minecraft, Musical.ly. Ooh, Musical.ly, we can forget that one. But now Gen Z is known for being chronically online, terminally tired, and recreationally addicted to just about everything. And again, I'm not on my high horse here. I'm part of the problem too. I don't think anything is as bad as our collective addiction collection. We can start with what I like to call the Holy Trinity. You've got Nick, caffeine, and weed. Hot diggity dog! Because of Zins, half of us have become human Pez dispensers. I don't even remember these things entering society. One day it was Berry Blast, whatever the flavor vape, and the next it was a Zin graveyard on every public sidewalk. But even though Zins are absolutely everywhere, people still vape, make no mistake. Except instead of Juuls like it was in 7th grade, we've graduated to geek bars. I don't mean to sound like a D1 unk, but when I found out that these fancy-ass things were disposable, I was kerfuffled. Because back in my day, I remember people smacking a USB stick and reusing it. Nowadays, you can just throw out the whole neon brick. And my favorite part is a lot of the people you meet using these things are some of the most health-conscious people ever, you know? No artificial dyes, no seed oils in their food. Or like when it comes to caffeine or diet soda, oh, that's bad for you! But if it's a puff of blue Raz Ice and Chernobyl fog, oh, that's fine! Because as I'm sure you've heard one of them tell you, they can quit whenever they want. Spoiler alert. They can't! Bro, I thought you stopped vaping like a month ago. Yep. So why are you hitting that shit? Bro, I can quit whenever I want. I'm just taking a break. Then why don't you just quit? Well, because I can quit whenever I want, bro. I'm just using it for another month, I swear. Like, are we so serious for Realius right now? God forbid one of these car exhaust addicted goons loses their vape in your house, because it will shortly look like Hurricane Katrina II in there. I'm talking couch upside down, every cabinet rummaged through. It's like me when I lose my phone, because even though I may not be a Nick fiend, I have my vices too. The other thing is money, because geek bars last anywhere from a week or two and cost like 20 bucks each. That's like 60 bucks a month, and over a year, that's like a plane ticket to Europe, all on some blueberry gas. Congratulations! And don't even get me started on weed. I use it to energize me. It lets me focus. Dude, you're high out of your mind. You look like a barn animal. And watch how the fake ones fold the second you bring out the Benjamin. Everyone will be begging for that sucker. I don't smoke, partly because I know I'm already an idiot and that shit will put a dent in your brain, and partly because I know it'll put a dent in your wallet as well. Card is what, 35 bucks, and then you have to DoorDash afterwards, so that's another 25. You didn't just get high. You just spent $60 to forget that you're already broke. You also could green out, which is goon speak for I took too much THC and now I'm losing my mind and having a panic attack. But I don't know what's worse, that or the heart palpitations from the 600 milligrams of caffeine I sometimes consume. Caffeine addiction isn't a destination, my friends. It's a journey. One that I am most certainly. It always starts with soda, and then you graduate to coffee, then Monster, and then I'm practically running off of Celsius now with 200 milligrams. God forbid you start cracking into them 270 milligram fat Celsiuses, because you're practically just begging for the emergency room at that point. The safe limit is 400 milligrams a day, but I treat that as more of a suggestion than a rule. And much like nicotine and weed, caffeine tolerance is very real. I barely even feel it anymore. Maybe that's not good, guys. I'm doing some self-reflection. I don't know how I did high school. 7 a.m. wake up, 7 straight hours of classes, no caffeine. I showed up hungry, dehydrated, sleep deprived, and somehow still fun. Now, when I wake up before 10 a.m., I feel like I'm all like in touch with nature. Like I'm in a productivity sigma male edit. The college effect is very real, my friends. If you're starting college, don't worry. This is where caffeine addiction slowly creeps into your life, and you become familiar on a first-name basis with every vending machine on your campus. Yes! I mean, because something's got to artificially power your dead battery after you go to bed at 4 a.m. the next morning, all right? Breakfast? What's that? Let me introduce you to my little friend, Peach Vibe Celsius. Not sponsored, but totally should be. Yeah, it kind of feels like plugging a gas-powered generator into a Tesla. Now, sure, we like to put a bunch of radioactive substances into our bodies, breezes, energy drinks, but the consumption does not stop there. That's because the average Gen Zer gets over 9 hours of screen time a day. I bet most of you don't even sleep that long. Like, what are we doing? And again, I am the problem here. I don't know about all of you, but I like to give myself a little scroll break after being productive for a little while. Like, I'll open an assignment assignment, and then reward myself with 30 minutes of Instagram Reels, and then I'll answer question 1, and I have to reward myself with an hour and a half of YouTube. And before I know it, my work is done. 6 hours later. And God forbid you get sick and decide to tell your family, because they will diagnose it like they've been through med school. Mom, I don't feel so good. I feel like I shouldn't go to school today. Maybe if you weren't always on that damn phone of yours, you would be, I don't know, healthy, strong, accomplished, successful, happy, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, and I wouldn't have to pay an electric bill the size of a Morgan! And the worst part isn't even the time warp that this sucker carves into my day. No, it's the fact that my attention span has been ground down to that of a newborn fly. Because if the TikTok doesn't have bright colors, flashing subtitles, and Subway Surfers gameplay below it, I'm not watching it. That's why the average Gen Zer has an average 8-second attention span and a 1.3-second attention span for ads. That part I get though. I make my living off of ads, and I still audibly sigh whenever YouTube decides to hit me with a 60-second unskippable shit. Quick dopamine hits are a common factor among our generation, whether it's an illicit substance, a diabetes-inducing crumble cookie, shooting out the professor with glass. Because it's not just screens and stimulants anymore. It's like we've taken every human urge and turned it into a subscription. Let's talk about OnlyFans for a second. We've got a whole economy now where people pay more money on not touching grass than they do on grass touching activities. Like, bro, you could buy some new clothes, get a gym membership, do your groceries, or you could spend $25 to see those feet pics. It's wild because both sides are cooked. You've got, I would never date an OnlyFans model. That's crazy. Typed out on a phone that spent 4 consecutive hours on the damn site. And then the creators are like, I don't know who keeps buying this stuff. Mankind is cooked. It is the top 0.7% of your subscribers funding this dude. You are the IMF of loneliness. And again, I'm not hating on the people that do it, right? Like, get your bag, whatever. But like, as a generation, are we not even slightly ashamed that we've turned eye contact into a paid feature? Because the buffoons who send like $10,000 at a time, they genuinely believe the girl likes them.
I need you to Apple Pay me an insane amount of money.
Yes, how much?
I need like 10K. You have to send me this money or we're done. Getting nothing.
Okay.
And I say the girl because 11 times out of 10, it is some middle-aged dude with too much money sending it to some like 20-year-old girl he genuinely thinks he's in a relationship with. I'm sorry, you're kind of delusional. But OnlyFans still has well over 300 million users, which means there's a good chance that you know someone who secretly uses it. Just saying. And then there's food, because our generation does not cook. We DoorDash. Here's a fun stat for you. I have spent more time watching people cook on YouTube than I've ever cooked in my life. No exaggeration, I don't even need to do the math because I can't cook for shit. The Gen Z food pyramid consists of Chipotle, Raising Cane's, White Monster, and whatever the heck DoorDash can deliver to me in 30 minutes. The other day I DoorDashed a little $13 personal pizza from a restaurant that's literally 5 minutes from my apartment. Am I proud? No. Did I still smack that shit in about 5 minutes and regret every second of it when I checked my banking app afterward? You bet I did. We're all like, why is everything so expensive? Why am I broke? Also us, $18 Pokeball, $6 iced coffee from Starbucks, $4 800 calorie, 80 gram of sugar crumble cookie. Money in general is just a disaster because I know some of you have more subscriptions than you do dollars in your checking account. We're all like, I can't afford to invest. The system's broken. Again, also us, Spotify, Netflix, Apple Music, iCloud, because we won't delete that picture we never looked at. And then $30 of subscriptions we didn't even know existed. You'll open your bank statement to see your spending, and it's never rent, groceries, utilities, no. Rumble cookies, Uber trip, DoorDash, random vending machine expense, Uber trip. We're not even spending money at this point. We're just leaking. There's a very specific type of guy who will not pay $10 for parking because that's a scam, but will gladly drop $50 at the bar and then $25 on some tacos you won't even remember afterwards. And that guy is me. Now, one thing we actually are good at as a generation, because I've just been ripping into us, is gym culture. Because Gen Z actually works out more than any other generation before. Is a lot of that rooted in self-doubt, low self-esteem, and the angry urge for revenge? Probably. But at least it's healthy. Physically, a lot of us are not working out to be healthy. Let's be real. We're working out to look good on that beach trip or for 2 Instagram posts. We also got dudes taking pre-workout to go hit arms for 25 minutes and then go scroll on TikTok while sitting on a machine for another 40 minutes to recover like they just got back from D-Day or something. And everything has to be recorded. Some of you don't hit normal squats anymore. Now, we've got ring lights, gorilla pods, 6 different angles. Like, we know you probably did 3 sets and then went home to DoorDash Cane's after. But we need to talk about the worst part of this generation by far: the public nuisances. Yes, the people who go out and vie for your attention with every ounce of their being, trying to get as viral as possible online. I'm talking the Jack Dohertys of the world. The people who go out and decide to make themselves public menace #1 for no reason at all. Because I think more than any other generation, Gen Z were so externally motivated by public approval, more so than any other generation, and it sucks. Why do we do that? We do that to ourselves. So Gen Z, I have one message for you, okay? I am one of you. I check a lot of the bad, stupid boxes I've talked about today. I'm not perfect, but I'll tell you this. Let's come together as one and just, like, stop being, like, idiots. Because we are pretty smart. We're a bunch of smart cookies, I'm not gonna lie. I have guests, so I gotta wrap up quickly, but don't be cooked. Like and subscribe. I'll make another one about another generation maybe someday. I don't know. Bye.